Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and some good Star Wars Battlefront 2 news. Because first of all, you're all probably waiting for the next update to the game, which is of course on the 25th, only 4 days from now, including the squad system and 2 new clone skins. But today we actually got a new community transmission talking about the matchmaking with some very good changes that, if working as intended, will hopefully make this game a lot more enjoyable for a lot of us. And if you're wondering about the community transmission for the September update, I'm guessing that arrives early next week since it's Friday evening right now. So this is probably the last community transmission we are getting this week. But if we get started, I'm gonna jump to all the interesting details. First of all, end of round matchmaking is a feature you might have noticed before, and this is something that is really the core and what I think most of us want. Basically, after you've played on a specific planet, it would shuffle around the teams if they were uneven. And that's something that has not been working the last few months. They have actually turned it on a couple of times and it has worked, but then there's been a lot of other issues which caused them to have to turn that feature off. But in an ideal world, if we have that on and it functions like intentional, it is exactly what we need. Because one unbalanced game, I mean, that's bound to happen occasionally. But the problem is that right now you have to leave that game to get a new balanced game. But once that end of round matchmaking will be turned on again, shortly after the squad system update, we will be getting that proper balance. And they are saying that the squad system update aims to correct those issues that caused them to previously have to turn that feature off. And they talk about here how that kind of snowballs the unbalanced effect right now, because people tend to just leave the games because they know they won't get balance in the next round, and that further creates worse balance in the game because it's usually the worst players that leaves, making the stomping from the other team even worse. So when the end of round matchmaking actually is added properly, it will be a game changer for the balance. Some other changes they are doing to the matchmaking is for fuller servers, because currently the system is apparently favoring the creation of new servers with the minimum number of players, but the new system will instead be changed to prioritize filling up existing servers instead of starting new ones. And this thing I can totally relate to, because there's a lot of times where you end up in an empty server that then eventually doesn't fill up. And lastly, they've also done a change to the ping site settings, and they will be adding a new default setting that will not actually be to a specific ping site, like right now where I, for instance, have Germany. But with this new default setting, it will actually be automatically picking good ping sites around you. So if you're in Europe, for instance, they mention that you might be matched both to Frankfurt and Dublin, which means that it will be a lot quicker to find games and a higher chance of you finding a full game, since there's gonna be more games that it will be matchmaking you towards, simply put. And if this works like intended, I think that's also really good. I mean, when I scroll through this ping site settings, there's a lot of them in Europe that have pretty much the same delay, but I just picked Germany because that's the one that has the absolute lowest. But if you get 5 or 10 more MS on another server, that doesn't really matter, to be honest. And again, you can still switch to a specific ping site if you want to, but this is just going to be a new default setting so that you will much easier find a game. So overall, there's a lot of good changes here in terms of ending up in fuller servers, ping sites making it easier to find games, and most importantly, the end of round matchmaking, which has been the most important thing to get working in this game, but that has unfortunately not been working since the launch, except for a few times when they have tested it. So I just got my fingers crossed that they have actually successfully fixed the issues they had before, so that the end of round matchmaking properly works. But yeah, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.
Beep.